and do Peter's job for him. Let's talk about scams. How do you get scammed? Scams require there to be fraud and lies, in my opinion. I believe deception needs to be involved for something to be a scam. Amazon dropped 95%, and now it's 50% of commerce in the United States on the internet. Bitcoin dropped 85% 3 times. It just dropped 55% in the last couple months. I don't think that you can just look at a price chart, which is basically in a free market, human beings deciding something's worth a little, and then deciding it's worth a lot, and then deciding it's worth a little again. You, as the product or service that's being traded, have very little influence over people going crazy with stuff, overvaluing it, undervaluing it. There's nothing that you can really do about that. Like, you can try and have good messaging, you know? Like, for instance, with Hex, right? I said to people tend to FOMO day one. EOS had a very similar launch over 350 periods where people sent Ethereum to a contract, which then gave them ERC20 tokens. Now, totally opposite, because they had nothing done and a lot of promises. That was a security. Hex is the opposite of that. Hex promises you nothing and is complete. They're opposites, right? But they had some structural similarity in that people can turn something that they didn't want into something that they did want, right? Some similarity. Well, I published their charts and analyzed them and said, here, guys, here's the website that publishes the data for how much Ethereum came in every day, where it came from, the chain analysis, everything. And I posted them. And they're on Twitter right now. And I said, you know, it looks like you could try and scale in over the first week or two before the share price ratchets too high. Now, in 2 minutes, the share price is going to go up for the first time ever in Hex. So today, in 2 minutes, will be the first time ever that the share price increases. And I'm very curious to see how high it increases, because it only goes up, right? The share price only goes up. That's math. Now, the USD price, I have no idea what it'll do. I have no idea what it is now. I have no idea what it'll be 2 years from now. I have no idea what it'll be 1 year from now. And no one else does. It is non-deterministic. It is unpredictable. It is extremely, extremely, I would say, impossible to predict. So good luck getting expectations out of me. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth. This thing is designed to do over 10,000x in 2.5 years. It could go to zero. It could go to a dollar. It could go, like, anything's possible, right? There's no way for me to, I don't have any information you don't have. It's public blockchain. Everything that I can see, you can see. So I may be slightly more qualified to show you the range of what is possible if it acts similar to other things, because I understand the other things. You know, this does not sound like scam behavior to me. This sounds like honest behavior. You run software, you mint coins. That software mints you more coins if you stake longer, and it's all you. You're minting your coins for yourself. No one else can do it. There's no company, there's no entity that's giving you things. You are in a peer-to-peer network that you are a peer of. You decide which network rules you're going to run by because you decide what contract you're going to run, and then that's it. It's a volunteer thing that's totally voluntary. No, like, and there's also no automatic. The code just sits there. If no one runs it and acts as the network, then it is just text. It's just text that just sits there. I mean, in theory, it's compiled text into bytecode, but you get the idea, right? The bytecode just decompiles into text. So it decompiles into source code, which is public and verified and auditable. And you can see it on etherscan.io and go to the contract address. It's just at the top of pumpamentals.com if you want a 10% bonus, or hex.win if you don't want a 10% bonus. You can see the contract address right there at the top. Everything is audited and viewable and open. And how can people be so angry about a voluntary association of people that want to build and be part of something greater? It blows my mind. It's crazy. So let's talk about scams, right? Man, it's I bet the price just moved up now. Let's talk about scams. I hate scams. I don't like scams. I think they're net negative for the whole world. How can we get rid of scams? I believe there's only 3 ways we can do it, and I believe 2 of them don't work. Here's how we can get rid of scams. 1, we throw a lot more money into not regulators, but enforcement, right? They're understaffed. The scams appear, steal a lot of money, and then disappear before they can respond, because it's slow for them to respond. First, they have to be able to detect them. Then they have to do information gathering and get injunctions, and then, get warrants, and then it's a whole lot of work, right? So I don't think that the enforcers are able to prevent scams from happening. I do think they're able to punish some people that have performed them, but I don't think that the numbers are on their side. It's just too easy to start scams and too easy to run them. And then, these guys only get caught after the fact, and then most of the money doesn't get got back. In some rare cases, some of the money will be gotten back, but most of it won't. And so that, to me, the first option of better enforcement, it doesn't seem like it works. It doesn't seem like it scales. I don't think it has worked. And even if you could get it to work in a couple good countries, well, that leaves the not good countries just screwed. They're just not able to have the better enforcement there, right? So what's your second option? Scream and yell and beg for people to be smarter and to stop getting scammed. People don't have a switch they can flip to just be smarter. They don't have one. And they don't believe what you're saying. So if you go to someone, you try and stop them from getting scammed, they won't even believe you. As a matter of fact, I've tried this, and I've tried to stop people from becoming scammed, and I think I actually did harm. I think that when you tell people not to do a thing, some percentage of those people that wasn't going to do it anyway because they never heard of it are now actually going to do it because you brought it to their attention to let them know not to do it. And they go to the site and they read it and they're like, man, this actually sounds good. That guy's stupid. So and even if you had the same ability to influence somebody to not get scammed that the person trying to scam them had, the scammers have a bigger budget because they're cash positive on onboarding new users. But you, as the anti-scam guy, you don't make any money by stopping people from getting scammed. So they've got money for marketing, you don't. They're going to reach more people, you're going to reach less. So even if you were more effective than them, they're going to beat you with scale. You're not able to stop this. These two things do not work, or they would have already worked, right? So what do? I'm smart, I'm innovative, I care, I'm creative. I come up with better ideas and I try to make them work. How do I think we can prevent scams? I think that you have to outcompete the scammers for the resources that they thrive on, just like a bacteria. If you want to get rid of a bad bacteria, you send in a good bacteria to outcompete it for food, and then it dies. That's it. There's other ways. You could use macrophages and white blood cells to do other things, right? There's a whole list of things that you can do, right? Like plants have antibacterial things they do. If that's where CRISPR comes from. It comes from bacteria. Anyway, so if you want to prevent people from getting scammed, I think something that can scale, I think something that can work and have a better effect than other things that we've seen is a product or service that has a similar sales pitch but doesn't have the scam in it, right? So how do these scams operate? Hey guys, we're going to show you all these returns off of this fake thing that we're doing. And then it turns out we're not really doing that thing. We're just robbing the new guys, right? That's how these scams operate. They promise you a lot of stuff and they don't give you the stuff. Well, do cryptocurrencies tend to appreciate? Well, it looks like it, yeah. They also tend to depreciate at some point, but for some window of time, yes, they seem to appreciate quite a lot. And I mean quite a lot. Bitcoin's up 750,000x right now. More, really, but I'm just using a penny. It used to trade for less than a penny. So it's actually a higher number. And in 2 years ago, it used to be 2 million x when the price was 3 times higher, right? This is the reality. And Ethereum did better than that. And I could list you a coin that did better than Ethereum and is still doing amazing. I know these things that other people don't know, so I know what is possible. And I can tell you what is possible. Now, do I know what Hex is going to do? I have no idea. I have no idea how many people will claim. I know people have claimed. 116,000 Bitcoin, the last time I looked, has claimed their free Hex. Well, that's a lot of Bitcoin, right? What is it, like some large number of millions of dollars? Well, they claimed. Good for them, right? I know that we're the number 2 network on Ethereum, behind Tether. Wow, in 2 days. That's pretty good, right? I give you the measurements. You make your own decisions. So how do you get a sales pitch, a presentation, an idea of a peer-to-peer network in front of someone that will choose them to do that instead of getting scammed by somebody that's going to lie to them? You tell them the truth. Hey, look, and this is what they're already doing. BitConnect and OneCoin said that they were cryptocurrencies, but they were not really. They were centralized. Oh, well, that's a big difference. Because if it's centralized, someone could flip a switch and make everything go away. And that's what tended to happen. Well, if you have a truly distributed cryptocurrency with many, many, many parties participating, there's no switch to flip.